Welcome to Day 3 of the FAI Sailplane Grand Prix in Horsham, Australia. The weather was much better today, allowing our pilots the opportunity to cover more of the picturesque Wimmera countryside. Our task today took our pilots northwest to Nil, east across to a turn point north of Warwick before returning home to the finish line. Cooper and Joseph caught up with a couple of our pilots to find out a bit about them and their plan for the day.
So I'm here with Graham on day 3. And Graham, what do you think about the conditions yesterday? How did that go for you?
Well, actually the first couple of days they've both been tricky because of the low depth of the thermals, so it's been a bit of an effort just to stay airborne, let alone get around the task. So I'm quite pleased to have got round at the front of the pack, because it was quite tactically dangerous in that you didn't need to do too much wrong to slip back in the last couple of days. It was quite tricky. Today I think we're looking for a modest improvement, so it should be a little bit easier, and I expect that trend to continue as the week goes on.
And how does it feel to be so far being on top in this competition?
Well, by on top, we're just on top. This competition is not over by any stretch of the imagination yet. It's pleasing to be on top, but I've still got a lot of work to do to stay there.
Yep. Well, thank you, and hope to see you do well today.
So here I am with Kath, and now the conditions and the task yesterday, what was your opinion on it?
I thought it was better than we'd flown the previous day. It was easier to stay up before the launch, and the task itself really only had one low spot, and there were plenty of other gliders to mark the thermals, so it was easier.
And staying with the conditions, what do you think about the conditions today?
Well, the weatherman tells us that they'll be better. We'll have to see whether or not he's telling lies. Hopefully it's the truth, because we're hoping the days will just get better and better and higher, so we can fly in the cool and race faster.
Awesome. And what is your experience like becoming a female in a male-dominant sport?
Well, I'm also an engineer, so I work in a male-dominated area as well, so I guess I'm kind of used to it, really. I find the guys don't treat me really any differently. It's really only the outsiders, I think, who look inside at the sport and say, oh wow, you're doing that with all the guys. And really, once you're doing it, it's not an issue.
Well, thank you very much, Kath, and best of luck today.
Today's race was very close, with only 39 seconds separating first and third place. Pete Temple took out the win again today, and he gave us all an insight into his win at the presentation ceremony.
It was a pretty fun day of racing. It was very, very close at the end there. We had a fast gaggle with the three of us, Torgo pushing out ahead, and then Graham and I picking up the climbs behind him. And Jorgo unfortunately took one extra turn for the last climb, and after that it was sort of game over for him, so sorry about that, Jorgo. And then it was the race between Graham and I for the finish, and that was just, well, as we said on the radio at the time, 50-50 chances to who got home first, because we were neck and neck about 50 kilometres out on final glide. Same height, a beam, maybe 50, 100 metres apart. And obviously getting slightly different air in that, and as it turns out I got a slightly better run and got me home a few seconds early, but yeah, it was a lot of fun.
As always, you can check out the tracking at sgp.aero, and we'll see you all again tomorrow for another day's racing. Catch you then.